Hello YouTube, DSN here, and today I'm going to show you guys how I fitted the Drift Ghost HD onto my helmet, which is a Icon variant Battlescar charcoal, and just give you a rundown for those of you that are thinking about getting one or have just got one, how I went through and got it all installed properly. So first things first, I'm going to take the camera off for you, because the most important thing in the install is actually getting this sticky mount on properly. So if you put it in the wrong place, you're going to have to take it off, stick it on again, and it's not going to stick on as well as it did the first time. It'll probably stick and it'll probably stay. This one's been on and off a couple of times, but obviously you want to get it on there right the first time. Now, with the Drift Ghost, it's actually a lot easier when it comes to this mount than it is with other cameras. And that's basically because you've basically got three axes that you need to adjust to get the right angle for the camera. So you've got your horizontal axis, which will turn the camera left to right. You've got your vertical axis, which will turn the camera up and down. And you've got the rotational axis, which will adjust the rotation. Now on the Drift you have first of all the rotatable lens. So what that means is the rotation axis, when you say you mount the camera, say you mount this camera here, so it's at a 45-degree angle to the left, you can rotate the lens to point straight. So it doesn't matter whether this sticky is stuck straight on the helmet or off to the side, because you can just adjust the lens accordingly. And secondly is the vertical axis, because you have this little device here. If I loosen this off slightly just to show you, and we put this back in the mount, you can see even though the sticky pad is still, you can move the camera up and down. And once you get it in the position you like it, you then just put it back into the one I want there. You just tighten it back on again, just a little thumb screw there. Tighten that back on, and on it goes. So the only axis you have to worry about is the horizontal. So the way to get this right is to take the sticky pad before you put it onto the helmet, when it still has the plastic seal on it, and literally turn the screen on. And when you're watching the screen, you want to move the camera around until you see, obviously, even with the plastic plate, that's exactly where it's going to stick. And all you want to worry about really is finding out how far forward or backward on the helmet you want it. Now the way I figured this out was by pointing the helmet directly at an object. I think I used my telephone. And I lined the helmet up so it's pointing directly at that object. And using the screen, I moved the camera around until the same object was right in the middle of the footage. At that point, I knew that when the camera's looking directly at something, so's the helmet. Right? They're synchronized. Then I just put a mark down with a bit of tape down the helmet, so I knew in this direction where I wanted it to be. And then at that point, you don't have to worry about which way this mount's stuck on, because you can adjust it accordingly. So I would personally always mount this so that the bottom of the mount, where it sits into, goes down. And the reason for that is that even if this does come loose for whatever reason, it still needs to jump all the way out of the mount, whereas if it's just mounted sideways where it's clicking in like that, it will just fall out the back. So that way you've got much less chance of it, if something does go wrong, it's still not going to fall out. Hopefully. So once you've got that and you've got it marked and you figured out whereabouts on the helmet you want it, another important thing to make sure is that when you put the helmet down on the table, the camera doesn't hit the floor first, because then you'll end up scratching the bottom of the camera quite a bit. And the other thing to be aware of is that when you're moving and looking, that the helmet and the camera is clearing your shoulder, especially when you've got your gear on and you've got your shoulder pads. You don't want the bottom of the camera catching on your shoulder when you turn your head to do a lifesaver. So keep that in mind as well. And then once you've figured out exactly where you want it, take the tape off, stick it back on, you're good to go. Now, they do say once you put this sticky pad on, you should leave it for 24 hours, and that's to let the adhesive bond with the helmet. Personally, I didn't do that. I brought the camera, stuck it on, bonk, and off went out for a ride, and it didn't fall off. But don't blame me if it does. Of course, you should leave it on for 24 hours. Be good. Now, once you've got it stuck on, you still need to figure out how vertically and rotationally you want the camera to be. And the easiest way to do this is just to put it on your helmet, literally go out for a ride for 30 seconds, just round your block, keep your head nice and straight, look forward down the road, try and relax, and then come back, straight away just turn it on, watch the footage back, and at that point you can go, okay, it's a little bit to the left, I want to rotate it a little left, and I want to point it a little further down. And then just go back, another 30 seconds, and you'll have it right in no time at all, and then you'll know. And I've put a tiny little mark on the top of the camera to show where I want the lens lined up when it's stuck on the helmet. Because a lot of the times I'll take it off and put it on another mount on the back, at which point I need to rotate the lens 90 degrees so that it doesn't, so the footage still comes out straight. And then at that point it's really easy to put it back. And basically I just remember that with the vertical axis it's just 2 clicks off from the top. So I put it right at the top, that's straight, and I just go 1 click, 2 click, and tighten it up again. That's fine. So it's 2 clicks and the mark on the top, job's done. Now if you're buying the camera to vlog, you're also going to want the external microphone, and that's what this little lead is here. Now the lead just plugs into the back of the camera like that, and the way I installed this was to take basically all the lining out, so the cheek pads, the head, the wind guard, took all that out, put it aside for a minute, and then I plugged the microphone into the back of the helmet. As you see where it runs down here, I decided I wanted it coming in that crevice there. So I literally put it there and I just taped here. I took the other end of the mic, put it into the helmet at the mouthpiece, and then taped that as well. So all I've got left then was all the spare cable that I know I need to hide away somewhere. I run the cable up this lip here, and then obviously behind where this lining is now, it's actually running about up the middle of the helmet, up this side here. It comes along here and then runs up, and that runs all the way along the side to the back of the helmet. And then from here I started running the cable up the back, taped it down inside, turned it round on itself so it comes all the way back up here, comes in all the way up, taped. It's got a nice wide loop, taped again, and then that comes back in and obviously back down the front. That's basically because there was more cable than I needed. So having it up the back of the helmet inside means when I put the lining back on, I don't feel it, it's just gone. So once I've done that, I put the side lining back in, and then as I started to put this cheek back in, I was feeding the cable into it with my finger as I went along. Fill it in a little bit more, feed it in, and just as you're coming along, nice and carefully, make sure that it's seated up the side of the helmet, then the cable goes in, because if you trap the cable up into the helmet, it will snap it, so be careful doing that. And exactly the same thing with the wind thing, this little mouth chin cover, chin strap, so not chin strap, there's your chin strap, this thing. Same as the cheek, it slips into the side of the helmet, and again literally just stuffing it in with my finger as it goes round, took the tape off and velcroed the microphone into the bit. And that's that. Basically once you've got the camera in the right place and the microphone in, you're good to go. Personally, settings wise, the only thing I've changed is the mic sensitivity is down to 1 with the external mic, and it's up at 3 with the internal mic. It just seems to be quite a sensitive mic, it picks it up. 2 or 3 sensitivity and you get a lot of distortion when you talk. So I turn it down, and if I need to, I then turn it up when I edit it later. But you can get, if you do get distortion through the mic, just turn the sensitivity down. Exposure, white balance, everything else is all as standard, and that's how it looks on the footage. Now, if you do want to buy one of these cameras, or you're thinking about getting one of these, if you buy the camera from actioncameras.co.uk, I'll put a link down in the bottom, I have a discount code which is DSN10, and if you put that code in and the checkout, you'll get 10% off everything that you buy. So the camera, the mic, the battery, the SD card, all of it, put it in the checkout, put the code DSN10 in, and it will take 10% off for you. So that will hopefully save you a little bit of money, and of course we get more vloggers. So there you go, guys. That's my helmet. That's how I fit the drift boat to it. That's what it looks like. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.